take a minute. I'm going to freeze my screen. You do it, and we'll see if we agree, if we get the same answer. So you're substituting in a -1 in both functions. All right, compare your answers. Who agrees with my two answers? So for the first one, I got +1. And the second one is does not exist. You cannot divide by 0. That is mathematically impossible to take anything and divide it by 0. So if you ever have a 0 in your denominator, it does not exist. Now you can take 0 and divide it by something. So you can have a 0 upstairs, but you cannot have a 0 downstairs. That's impossible. All right, so now let's take out our notes. We're going to simplify rational expressions. So we're going to factor, and then we're going to cancel out any factor that is top and bottom. So simplifying is the same as reducing a fraction. So if I have 2/4 and I reduce it to 1/2, that means I simplified it. Same thing. So if it's not already factored, we will have to factor it. The first one, we only have 5 questions today, and then we'll start working on our homework. The first one is already factored. There is nothing left for us to factor. This is already factored. So all we need to do in this example is cancel, because the factoring step is done. So what can I cancel? X plus 4. Because it's upstairs and downstairs, it goes away. So my final answer would be x minus 6 over x minus 1. And that's that. So when it's already factored, that's easy. We just have to cancel. But now let's look at the second one, B. B is not completely factored. The bottom is factored, but not the top, the numerator. So I need to factor the numerator. So because A is 1, do I have to make a box? When A is 1, do we have to make a box? Yes or no? When A is 1, do we have to make a box? No. So we don't need to make a box because A is 1. All we need to do is find our magic numbers. And our numbers will multiply to give us -2 and add to -1. Multiply, add. So I'm not going to say the numbers. I'm going to give you all a second, couple minutes, and just give me a thumbs up when you know the numbers. I'm not going to call on you. I just want to see how many of you are able to find the numbers, because that's a big part in factoring, being able to find our two numbers. Olivia, you accidentally turned in your chart. I don't know if you meant to, but there's an extra one over there if you need a chart. Yeah, I think some people turned in their multiplication charts with their homework. That's yours to keep. You don't have to turn it in, but I do have extras if you don't know where yours is, or if you would need another one. All right, thumbs up. Who knows my numbers? They multiply to give you -2 and add to -1. I got one person, two people over here. I got 3, 4. Okay, so what's my numbers? -2 and what? And +1. Good. So I'm just going to put the -2 and the +1. Stick it right into your parentheses. What do you notice is upstairs and downstairs. It has to be up and down to cancel it out. Is there any factor that's up and down? X plus 1, so we can cancel that out. So my final answer would be an x minus 2 over an x minus 1. Now, if there's only one factor, putting it in parentheses is optional, because that's all we have is the x minus 2 and the x minus 1. Any questions about how we work through that? All right, let's look at our next one. So C, the top is factored, but not the bottom. So I want you to factor the denominator. Again, A is 1. So we don't need to make a box. We're going to go straight to our parentheses. We need two numbers that multiply to be 6 and add to 5. Thumbs up when you know the numbers. Oh, wow, that was a lot faster than the first one. I think it's easier when it's two positive numbers. When one of them is negative, it's kind of like, oh, you got to think a little bit harder. But anybody besides Sahara, because she already answered me. Anybody else? Anybody over here want to tell me the numbers? They multiply to 6 and add to 5. Jaden. 3 and 2, both positive. Plus 3, plus 2. Is there something I can cancel out? It has to be upstairs and downstairs. X plus 3, yeah, let's cancel that out. Cross them out. So what I'm left with is x minus 4 over x plus 2. Any questions? What y'all think? Not so bad, right? Okay. All right, let's look at D. D looks like it is pretty much factored, but the main thing I want you to keep in mind is because there's an x squared, that means I have an x times x. So I can cancel out one of my x's, right? That can go away. Anything else? But is there anything else that's up and down that I can take away? X plus 5, thank you, yeah. Thank you, x plus 5. So what I'm left with is an x and an x minus 3. That's upstairs. Downstairs is just an x minus 2. So my final answer would be x times x minus 3 over x minus 2. So we factor first, and then we simplify. All right, last one for today is example E. So we have, this is our only one where we have to make a box. Can't do a shortcut because A is 2. So I'm going to make my box off to the side. 2y squared goes here, and negative 20 goes here. And then I need to find my two numbers that multiply to give you 2 times negative 20. So 2 times negative 20 is negative 40. And they add to negative 3. So this one might take us a little longer. So I'm going to give you all a couple minutes to find the numbers. They multiply to give you the top and add for the bottom. And because the number on top is negative, that means that my numbers are opposite signs. All right, so real quick, just give me a thumbs up who found my numbers. It's been a couple minutes. Okay, got a couple people over here, got a couple people over here. All right, I'm gonna give you another minute for those still thinking, and then we'll finish it out. All right, anybody want to volunteer? What's my numbers? Positive 5 and negative 8. Good. So I'm going to put a positive 5y, and a negative 8y. So the hardest part here is trying to figure out what are we taking out. So when you're looking at your multiplication chart, you know, there's rows and there's columns. So, you know, we got our numbers here. You're trying to find, I don't know why I skipped to 8. You're trying to find the column furthest to the right that has both of these numbers in it. Okay, so we know that all the numbers go in this column. But you're trying to see, can I find another column as I travel down my multiplication chart where both are there? And you want to pick the biggest number, the biggest column. So when I'm looking at my chart, what do you think I'm going to take out of? And we'll start off with these two. What am I taking out of the 2y and the negative 8y? What's my greatest common factor out of these two? Anybody know? 2, yep, 2y. Now, 5 and 20, what can I take out of 5 and 20 besides 1? Is there anything else? A 5. Has to be positive, though, because it's on top of a positive. The first row, 2 and 5, the only column in your chart where you're going to see a 2 and a 5 together is the first column, 1, which means I can only take out a 1 and a y. Now, 8 and 20, that's tricky. I think a lot of people will take out a 2, but that's not the greatest number. There's another number where you have an 8 and a 20, and that's 4. And it has to be negative because it's next to a negative. So now everything is factored down. I'm going to go ahead and write it out. So I have y squared, which means I have a y and a y. And then I have 2y plus 5 and y minus 4. Downstairs, I have 1y. I have a y minus 4 and a y minus 3. So let's start crossing stuff out. So yeah, we can cross out the y minus 4. What about anything else? Anything else go away? One of the y's. Just one though. So there's still going to be one left upstairs because we're only taking away 1. So now what's left over in the top is a y and a 2 minus 5. And in the bottom, the only thing that's left is a y minus 3. So my final answer would be y, 2y plus 5, all over y minus 3. Any questions? So today we simplified. Tomorrow we will add and subtract. So if you haven't already, I think just about everybody in second period has turned it in. But just a reminder that factoring assignment is due today. You have to have the work attached to get full credit. If you don't have the work, you don't get any points. This homework 1, is due on Tuesday. It's due on Tuesday.